G'day everyone, Jason Nunn with this Friday's fishing report, proudly brought to you by Fisherman's Warehouse Marine at Warners Bay. And of course last weekend, the big fish tournament out of Lake Macquarie, heaviest shark on Saturday, 344 kilogram tiger shark. Kai Woodforth, fantastic effort there, and the team on Okage. Some tough conditions there last weekend, guys. Bit of a swell on the Saturday, southerly wind, backed off in the afternoon to a nor'easter, but Sunday in particular, 25 to 30 knot winds on the shelf, some really tough conditions. Side effect from Port Stephens, they won the tournament. There was 3 boats on 2 fish, but obviously line class proved the winning factor, although side effect did fight a fish for 4.5 hours into the evening. In fact, they didn't get back across the bar at Port Stephens until after 11 p.m. on Saturday night, so just an absolute huge effort. Plenty of boats had plenty of opportunities out there. There were a lot of marlin around, but one thing of note, a lot of big dolphin fish, a lot of fish 10 to 15 kilo, 17.5 kilo was the best fish for the tournament. Matt Smith caught that little guy on 15 kilo, which was a great effort, but there was even a couple of bigger fish, and one in particular around 20 kilo. So it just goes to show you what was actually out there. A lot of the dolphin fish that were cleaned on Saturday afternoon after coming back in and filling them down had these little toads in them, and I often wonder whether the marlin and everything else is eating these little toads and it made them dull. But I did talk about it last Friday, guys, for that offshore. There wasn't a lot of tidal difference. There was only around about 650, 700 millimetres in difference, and I think that played havoc with the fishing. This weekend, have a look at it. I mean, unfortunately, we're going to have 20 knot sou'easters tomorrow, and the showers are going to move back in this afternoon. But we've got a massive tidal exchange tomorrow morning, 9:30 in the morning, 2.1 metre high tide, and at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, it's about a 0.2 of a high tide. So it's basically 1.9 metres of tidal exchange. Plenty of run in that current. I think that will actually spice up the estuary fishing, even though we're going to have those southeast winds. So I think offshore this weekend is going to be hampered by those very strong southeast winds, so I probably don't advise it. There probably will be a rock fishing warning go out as well. We'll see an increase in swell as a result of that sou'easter, so it's going to make it tough. Beaches, I reckon you're going to need to protect yourself by those little southern corners, maybe Swansea Heads where Lucy's Wall is, Blacksmith's Breakwater up to the Surf Club, certainly Port Stephens inside the bay, you've got lots of options there, and Stockton, probably the breakwater back up to around about where the Surf Club is. I think you've got to look for those protected corners with 20 knots of sou'east, because it is going to be quite strong. It does go to the east on Sunday, and of course Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, we're going to get back into those mid 30 degree temperatures with nor'easters. So there's a little bit still to come, but this weekend's going to be hampered by that strong sou'easter. Squid in the lake, look, they've been a little bit sporadic, I suppose. There's been clusters of them here and there. The normal haunts, the drop over in Murray's, haven't been producing as many squid as you would think. And I reckon that as we move into March, we may start to see that little bit improvement. So probably 3 or 4 weeks' time, we'll see them get a bit thicker, I reckon. But the reports last week, Wayne Flanagan gave me a call. The deeper water is where some of the better squid are, and there's some beautiful squid in the deeper water. So the guys are finding them while they're using vibes and or soft plastics in the deep water targeting flathead, and then came across these little pods of these squid, and they're quite big. But I was talking to Benny Jones there a couple of nights ago. Beautiful kingies in the lake at the present moment, and all he basically did was get a couple of live squid and have basically drift and caught a couple of nice fish, one in particular above 80 centimetres. So kingfish in the lake have become a real target species, and it's something that we always are talking about for the catch. But with these squid around, I think that's the idea. Go and have a bit of a tangle, even downrig. He wasn't downrigging, he was just drifting with a live squid. So it just shows you the benefit of having that live squid situation, that live bait out there. And it could even be live yellowtail if you're lucky enough to find a few of those. But there's been some really nice mulloway as well for that night fisherman. But I still think using lures, you're going to still get that little bit of a switch over. And I think there's plenty of benefit having a go. But you're going to need to look for the protection, and I really think you're going to have to fish really the eastern side to try to get away from that sou'easter. It is going to be quite blustery when it gets above 20 knots. There's been still some nice whiting on the sand flats and some really nice bream, but we're seeing a real variety in fish at the moment. I noticed there was a lot of reports this week of lake reds getting caught and fish 45 to 50 centimetres getting caught amongst it. So there's a real mix of fish I just think this tide this weekend, this real big tidal exchange, that 2.1 metre tide, both on Saturday and Sunday, will be critical, and I think we'll see some really good catches out of the weekend, but particularly as the weather starts to ease up a bit, Monday, Tuesday, for those guys like myself that are retired, be able to get out there and have a bit of a dig. All in all, guys, the moon is coming off, so now you've got the new moon on Saturday night as well. So I think that's a real benefit. Those new moon tides really do punch themselves out. There's a few crabs around, but you're just going to have to move around and just, there's a lot of females now all buried up. So just got to consider that when you're using those pots. I'll see you next Friday, guys. Hopefully the weather's going to be looking pretty good. 2 weeks before the Port Stephens shootout. It's all happening. I'll see you then.